virtual reality actually the future of gaming? Well, let's talk about it. What's up, human beings? Welcome back to another Midweek Speak here on the Games and Groceries channel. And hey, if you haven't already, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when all these Midweek Speaks come out, as well as our podcasts, our Let's Plays. More content to come. Here we are. All right. So, here on the Midweek Speak, we like to ask you, yes, you, on social media about a certain gaming topic or a question. So you can definitely follow us on Twitter at Gaming Groceries, or follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, or follow us on Facebook. Still not sure how to shout that out. Just search Games and Groceries on Facebook, and we'll give a question every Friday afternoon, and we have up until Sunday afternoon where we usually film these so that we can upload it on Wednesday. But today, we're talking about VR. So we asked you on social media, why does or doesn't VR actually matter to you? So VR, I think, is on a serious rise right now. I think it's been on a serious rise since, I want to say, 2016, 2017. That's when it really got its boost. But ever since then, we've seen a bigger and bigger impact with VR. I mean, we got a lot of games that have VR compatibility, including a new Half-Life game that's in VR.
You really like picking up your mic.
It's my thing.
And you've definitely, you can definitely see it just looking back, out of nowhere. I feel like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. And it's just kind of slowly been talked more and more about.
Yeah.
Like when it first came out, it's like only rich people are going to have that.
Right, yeah.
And now it's like your friend up the block has VR. And so I do think it's definitely on a rise, but I still don't feel like it's one of those things that it's necessary to have. It's not something that's for everyone yet.
Yeah, but it's definitely on a rise, and it's been around for a while. I mean, I got some experience at the Long Island Retro with the Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
That really hurt your eyes a lot.
That was fun.
Yeah. But virtual reality has been been around for a while, but it's been on the rise. It's been here in the mainstream for a good while now. It's so much so on the rise that they're making VR for cows.
I love that.
You see that back there? Weird, isn't it?
I love it. It's so cute.
They're making virtual reality for cows because they want to stimulate the brain. Maybe they'll put them in a pleasant kind of mindset to make better milk. So that's kind of crazy.
Tastier milk.
Yeah.
The cow's happy. So next time you have a glass of milk, just remember that a cow played video games so that you could enjoy that.
Jeez. However, in recent news, Phil Spencer, we even talked about this on the podcast, but Phil Spencer has made comments about VR and next generation Xbox saying that, listen, we're not putting virtual reality in Scarlett's projected future because nobody's asking for it, he said.
And I still think that's okay, because even though it is on the rise and it's being used so much that even they're using it on cows, he knows that his people that he markets to don't ask for it.
Yeah, because I've been on Xbox since the original Xbox, and I'm not really a VR person, but I don't count for all of Xbox fans.
Yeah, definitely not.
But, he knows the market, and he's even said before that, listen, I like virtual reality. I've played Half-Life Alyx, so he's experienced VR. It's just that it's not going to be the focus on Scarlett.
Yeah.
So you have these two combating sides where VR is definitely on the rise. Cows are really liking VR a lot. If Liz puts the image back there, cows with VR. But you got this other side where Phil Spencer is saying that nobody's asking for it. Nobody's really valuing it. Even I'm in the point of it's not really important to me. But that's why I like to ask you, the audience, what does VR mean to you? Does VR actually mean anything? Will you actually answer my questions instead of just, liking it? But, that's how it goes.
But we did get two of you to answer the question. And our first one is from @Commander Nikki. And she says, I once tried VR goggles on at a photography fair, and it made me feel odd. I never played Half-Life, but I feel incredibly sorry for the people who want new content and, as far as I know, only get it on VR. As long as VR stays optional for stuff I like, I won't be mad. And I completely agree with that. That's pretty much my same feelings on is that I feel really bad for people who want to play games that's only available in VR. But as long as my stuff stays available on the way I play it and not VR, because we've shared before that between both of our health conditions, we really shouldn't even own a VR. It'd be a dust collector. So as long as our things stay off of VR or still optional for normal platforms.
And that's the thing. There are games that it is an option for VR. A lot like when the Xbox 360 Kinect, you had on the 360 games, better with Kinect, blah, blah, blah. And no, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But all that to say is that, somebody corrected me on our Game Awards podcast that Concrete Genie actually does have a non-VR mode. So you can play on VR or you don't have to. So it's an option. And I like what Nikki says that as long as VR stays optional, it's fine. I don't really care. But it's not your only option. So we also have an answer from Cito's Sweet Home. Cito, if that's your real name, and if you do have a sweet home, good for you. But Cito has to say, honestly, it is too expensive. Thanks to Humble Bundle and to PS Plus, I now own VR and VR-capable games for my PC and PS4 that I cannot play because of the cost. I want to care, but the money keeps me from caring. And I totally agree with Cito here, is that, in my opinion, buying a VR headset is a lot like buying another console. Yes, we do have multiple consoles in here, but not every household can afford new consoles. And VR, it's a big cost for something that's very isolating. Like Phil Spencer says, the reason why he doesn't like VR, it's a very isolating kind of gameplay that you only experience. I don't know. In my opinion, the cost is too high. I know there's a Black Friday and Cyber Monday thing where you get PSVR with some games with it for $200. But in my opinion, I'd rather buy a Switch Lite at that cost.
Do you have any other gifts I can buy with $200?
So many.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's like my whole Christmas budget for the whole family. Everyone.
All the gifts.
I can get everyone one gift rather than get a VR with games.
So those were some of your thoughts when you answered on social media. But before we get to our thoughts, our concluding thoughts, we want to hear from you. You, the viewer. That's you. I'm pointing directly at you. We want to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. And we want to ask you, does VR or doesn't VR matter to you? And we want to hear your thoughts about it. All in, everything in between. We want to hear all your arguments for or against VR, but let's have a civil discussion down in the comments. But want to hear your thoughts, want to read them, want to discuss with you. So that brings us into our concluding thoughts. Does VR matter to us? And really, let's talk about this. Is it just a niche market? And I got a point to say, but Liz, I'll have you go first. Does VR matter to you? Do you think it's a niche market?
I think it'd be really cool to experience VR, but it's not important to me. And like I said earlier, I have, and I said it in other videos too about when we talk about VR, is that I have motion sickness. I have extremely sensitive eyes from migraines. So I really don't think VR is even marketed towards me.
Right.
So it's not very important to me, but I do think it would be a cool experience for maybe like 10 minutes before I die from being dizzy in a VR.
Yeah.
As far as the niche, I don't ever think it's going to take over any type of platform or anything like that. Like, I really do think it's just a niche thing. It's just some people are for it, some people don't care about it, and I think some people are perfectly fine with having both. But I don't think it's something that it's going to end up taking its own platform and it's going to be this generation-defining thing. I think it's just going to be one of those things that you either have or you don't. It might not go away like the connected, but I definitely think it's something that's going to be around for a time at least.
So my thoughts on VR, it doesn't really matter to me personally. I do have a history of epilepsy, so I am careful when gaming. I have all the lights on, so the flashing lights don't really affect me. So with VR,
super healthy here.
Yeah, how it goes. Death is coming for us all. But in terms of VR, I just don't do it just for the risk of it. But even if I didn't have the risk, VR doesn't really matter to me. But the way I think about VR and I think about how it's a niche kind of market, I was talking to Liz off camera that I feel like VR is its own game genre, where I can also rephrase the question, do RPGs matter to you? Or do Metroidvania games matter to you? In the same capacity, do VR games matter to you? Because VR games can, in of itself, be its own game genre. I don't think that we can call it just a niche market, whereas, it matters to some people, matter doesn't. I don't think we can just call it that, but I think we can call it by its own thing, by its own game genre, because, some people enjoy being in that VR capacity in the same way. Some people love RPGs, like myself. So I think that's where you can come down to, is that it may not matter to you, but it matters to some people. Phil Spencer, I agree that he has the right to say what goes into the Xbox Scarlet, what doesn't. But all in all, I think it just comes down to, what do you like? How do you want to play a video game? And that's what it should come down to.
So those are our concluding thoughts on whether VR matters to us or not. Don't forget to comment down below and let us know if VR matters or doesn't matter to you, and in what capacity. What do you think about VR? Don't forget to like and share if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when we release videos like this one, the Midweek Speak, or our Let's Plays, or the weekly podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.